Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am your instructor engineer Shaji Clement from the Republic of Cameroon. Here I'm going to be walking you through the Revit software. So this is version 2024. When you open it, you have here your recent projects and you have here your recent families. So what does it mean by recent project or models and families? So these are simply projects that you have engaged with recently, and families are the families that you have worked with recently. What is a project or a model? If I want to draw a plan, the plan is the model. Now what is a family? Inside of a plan, I can have need of a window. A window is a family. So Revit has what we call an external library where is stored the different families. There are already some in some Revit. You can already when you open a Revit template, you can find some families. But when you need some additional families, you have to go import them from the external library. So on my left here, I have the model zone here, where I have the possibility of creating a new model or opening an existing model. These are existing models. The families, I can open an existing family or create a new family. So let me open an existing model. I'll open this mechanical workshop that I did recently. Now when you open your model, you are going to notice here on the right, if you are opening Revit for the first time, you are going to notice that there's nothing on the right here, but there are two palettes here. Anyway, we'll get to that when the time comes. So when you look on my right, I have a box here, and this box, when you look at the top, you will see the title of the box is referred to as the project browser. I have another box on the right. When you look at the top, you see the name, it is referred to as the properties palette. So we can call it as the properties palette. So now this is the Revit interface. Inside of the Revit interface, you have what we refer to as the properties palette. What does it mean by properties palette? Okay, before I come to that, let me finish with this project browser. So the project browser gives you information about the project in its entirety. For example, if you look here, you see that level 0 is active, meaning that what you see here on your screen is the level 0 of my building. If I turn this building to 3G, you are going to see what it looks like. If I go to the south view, let me say the north view, you can see that level 0. So what we are seeing on my screen is this level, otherwise referred to as the ground floor plan. Okay, so I'm right beside the road and there are trucks that are passing around. If you get some strange noise, don't be offended, please. So this is the ground floor. Now if I want to go to this first floor, double click, this is my first floor. So if I want to see the south elevation, I double click the east and all of that, the structural plans and all of that. So this project browser gives you information about the model as a globe, as an ensemble, while the properties panel on your left here gives you information about elements of the model. Suppose I select a wall. This is a wall. This properties palette will give me information about the properties of this wall. So this is a basic wall of 15 centimeters. When we'll start modeling, we'll see how to manipulate these things. Okay, So this is the project browser on your right. Like I said, if you are opening Revit for the first time, you are going to meet the project browser and the properties palette all together here on the left, and you can click on the gray part. You can click on the gray part like this. You click and hold. Look on my right. You can click and hold and carry it. So it was here for those who are using it for the first time, and you can click on this gray part at the top here where the name of the palette is, and carry it to where you want it to be. So when I carry it to the right, look, I keep going until you see that greenish box. The greenish box is vertical. It therefore means that if I release it, it will take that vertical position. Okay, so that's what I did before I have it on the right. Let's move on. Project browser, information about the project. Properties palette, information about elements of the project. Over here on the top, we have what we call the ribbon. So that ribbon, this is the ribbon, all of this fellow up here. So this ribbon is made up of tabs. Like this is the file tab where you can open, save. This is the architecture tab. This is the structure tab. This is the annotate tab. And inside of every tab is what we refer to as the tools. The tools. So inside of the architectural tab, you can have the wall tool, the roof, the column. You get a point. Okay, let's move on. So this is the file tab, and then over here, these guys you see up here is what we call the quick access toolbar. You know, like if I click on the file tab, I can get the option to save, but when I'm working with my model, I will need to be saving, so I will not need to be coming to the file tab all the time to go to save. I can simply just access it here. This is save. So that's what it means by quick access, something that you can have access to very quickly. Yep, let's move on. Then here at the top here, that's what we refer to as the title bar. So it gives you the name of the project. So here, this is the version of Revit 2024.1. This is the name of the project, Atelier Mechanic, and it gives you your level. I'm at floor plan level 1. So that's the title bar. And what else? If you look somewhere at the right here, this is what we refer to as the info center, the information center. So you open down here, you can sign into Autodesk, you can explore purchase options and manage licenses. Okay, over here you have this fellow here. He is referred to as the navigation bar. So inside of the navigation bar, you have these fellows. It's a navigation wheel. So you see, that's panoramic. You see. So you can zoom. Let me close it by clicking on this X. Okay, let's see what's hidden down here. Fit to window. So these are options. You can make it glued to some part of the window here. I'm just gonna click it off. I don't want it. Let it go. So if I'm in 3G like this, when you are in 3G, there's something that adds to the navigation bar. So if I'm in 2D, you see, when I go to 3G, there's this 3G navigation fellow that comes up. So if I click here and hold, I can turn the model like this. If I want a particular angle, if I click on this angle, it will give me the model at this angle. See, if I click on this face, it will give me the model on this face. If I click like this and rotate, it gives me the model. I can still click like this and rotate. So I'm rotating on a plane down. Okay, so this is all about navigation. There comes a time when you have maybe turned your model so much that you get confused. So if you want to come back to the default position of the model, you just look at this. When you come here, you see this small house that appears here. You click on it, your model will come back to its default 3D position. Okay, so that is navigation bar. What else do we have? We have we can have at the bottom these fellows here are used to control the view. That's why we refer it to them as the view control bar. Like for example, if I come to visual style, I can change it to, let me say, wireframe. You see, so this guy controls the view. Can change it to shaded, can change it to consensual colors, put it on realistic. All right, then under the view bar we have this. Like for example, let me click on something. I've clicked on a wall. When I click on the wall, what is written down here? Look at what is written here when I take off my mouse pointer. Okay, I'll click on the wall, begin to watch the point. I click. What is written there? Basic wall 15. So that particular bar is called the status bar. Let me say I select two windows like this, 1, 2. When you look on the status bar, you see the type of window that I've selected. Let me add this. This is the other window that I've selected. Looking at the status bar, let me add this. Let me add this. You see, as I'm selecting, the status bar is changing. So it gives me the status of what I have selected. Okay, then there is another fellow here at the bottom right here. He's called the selection toggle. We'll see what that looks like when the time comes. The selection toggle. Select links, select underlay elements. So if I click on this, you see there's an X there. So if there was a link, because I may have started my model from an AutoCAD file which I linked in Revit. So if there is a link, I can select here on this button. It permits me to either be able to select that link in Revit or to not be able to select it. So X means I'm not able to select a link. So I'm gonna click it again. Select underlay. Select pinned objects. So this is what we call selection toggle. We're gonna be seeing how that is applied when the time comes for us to execute an actual model. Then the last second to the last place, it's not yet the last, is this fellow down here. Look right down here, you are going to see what we refer to as the design options. Okay, right now all of it is blurred out, and here we are seeing the main model. What's here? Design options. When you click on it, you can see option set. Let's click on new and see what's going to happen. Set one option anyway. I don't use that always. So then the final stuff that we are going to be looking at is this fellow, this space where you draw your model, and that space is referred to as the drawing window. So this is actually where you draw your model. So ladies and gentlemen, that was a presentation of Revit, the user interface. The way I want to take this beginner lesson is that we are going to start from executing actual projects, so much so that you get used to the different commands that are found in the software. At this point, I am going to end the lesson, and we are going to continue next time. I will be uploading content as time is progressing, and I'm going to be walking you through how to do stuff with Revit. Yeah, we are going to be executing actual models, and we are going to be doing more. So stay blessed. The Lord Jesus Christ watch over you. If you have any questions, you have any worries, let me know. I have provided my WhatsApp number. You can get directly to me. I will see how to address your worries. Okay, stay blessed.